Welcome back to Red's Roundup. In this video, we're going to be looking at Warren Buffett's portfolio as of 2020, as of right now. So he just released a new 13F, and we're going to take a look at what he has bought and what he has sold and what's different. Stick around, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Let's get into it. Starting out here at the top, we have companies that he bought and added to his position. So we have Store Capital is one highlight. That is a real estate investment trust that actually has some exposure to industries that have been hit hard, but they've managed well. Their stock is still very suppressed. I would recommend this company. So there's that one, Suncor Energy, oil, Kroger, and then a very interesting one, Barrick Gold, and a whole bunch of sellings here of financials and others. And then down at the bottom, we have him selling Airlines, Goldman Sachs completely, Occidental Petroleum. Let's get into some of my takeaways from what's actually changed the most. So what he sold the most of is financials. He sold off Visa, he sold off MasterCard, he sold off Wells Fargo, he sold off JP Morgan Chase, a huge percentage of that. He sold off Goldman Sachs. I could go on and on with what he sold on. Warren Buffett has been a huge fan of financials in his time at Berkshire Hathaway and prior to that as well. But right now is one of the few times where he is actually bearish on financial companies. So some of the reasons would be low interest rates. Right now, a 10-year government bond is only yielding like 0.7%, and it's been as low as 0.5%, and that's terrible. And when the 10-year rate is so low, that reduces the spread that these banks and other financial companies make on their money, whether it's a loan or just they're sitting around cash. Another thing is big loan losses. So a company like Wells Fargo, part of what they do is maybe they issue loans to business or a mortgage or a commercial loan for real estate. Right now, their loan losses are so large that they have to have a lot of cash in reserve to cover those losses. So that's a dangerous thing. And then lastly, Warren Buffett's a huge fan of certain futures where you know what's going to happen, or at least not risky. And right now you don't have either. Right now these companies are really risky, and you don't know if they're going to be able to be cash flow machines like they have been in the past. So what else? This is a very unique one. Warren Buffett buys a gold stock. So he buys a gold producer, Barrick Gold. They have a market cap of 47 billion, almost 50 billion. Probably will be 50 billion by the time people get through with buying it after they figured out Warren Buffett bought it. It's sitting at a PE of a little over 10. It's a gold miner, has a small dividend yield of a little over 1%. This is just a classic cash flowing business that Warren Buffett, I think this is the type of stock he buys, frankly. He likes cash flowing businesses. And so, not too surprised by this one, but it is surprising because it is a gold stock and he rarely buys gold stocks. So that's interesting. He sells financials but buys gold. What does that tell you about Warren Buffett's faith in the financial system as of right now? Probably not all that great. Might want to be in gold, not so much in cash or financials. So what else? He sold Airlines. This is something he talked about already in his annual meeting, that he was selling the airlines. Very high uncertainty businesses right now, very risky. He's very bearish. He sold 100%. I can tell you a story earlier in Berkshire's history. Warren Buffett bought Airlines. It went terribly. He sold out completely, and then he even said, I should set up a hotline for anybody who's thinking of investing in airlines because it's such a terrible investment that whenever you call in the hotline, it just says, don't do it. Do not buy airlines. So he broke his his old promise not to buy airlines and went back in, and he eventually got screwed over, took a big loss on the position. But that's part of what makes Warren Buffett great. He is willing to acknowledge when he's a loser in the situation. So that's interesting. He sold Airlines, he sold a restaurant, he sold Goldman Sachs. Let's look at what's in his portfolio as of today, as of right now. Let's look at the biggest holdings. You might be surprised to see many investment managers would say diversification is key, but not according to Warren Buffett. Diversification is not key. He says diversification is insurance for ignorance. And you can see that here with Apple making up over 44% of his portfolio. Apple has doubled in market cap uh, over the course of the pandemic from its lows to its current all-time highs. It's over, or maybe it's just hitting $2 trillion of market cap, so that's pretty huge. Apple, a crazy cash flowing business, lots of cash on their balance sheet. Uh, it's hard to say when he would sell that company, especially with a huge capital gain on it as well. Bank of America, this is one of the few financials on his 13F that he did not sell. Bank of America, he likes Bank of America a lot because of their consumer finance and their competitive edge, what he likes to call the moat of a company. Bank of America, in his opinion, has that. He did not sell Bank of America. He did sell Wells Fargo and JP Morgan Chase. Keep that in mind, what he thinks about Bank of America. Coca-Cola, he did not touch Coca-Cola. He's owned that for a very long time. This is his classic example of the high moat company that has incredible brand power and just a great business overall. Then American Express, he did not touch American Express either. He kept that position constant. So he does have faith in some financials. Kraft Heinz kept constant. All of these companies he kept relatively constant. However, I would just like to really emphasize how big of a position he has in Apple. That, I don't know. I wouldn't think to put 44% of my portfolio in Apple, but apparently if it's good enough for Warren Buffett, it would be good enough for me. So keep that in mind when you're constructing your portfolio. Don't be afraid to have really high concentrations of something you really believe in. Okay, thank you for watching. This has been Red's Roundup. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Thanks for watching. Leave a like, leave a comment. See ya.